I'm Mordechai Cohen, and I'd like to welcome you to the fourth meeting of the Chinese-Jewish Conversation at Yeshiva University. And a special welcome to our Chinese students and guests. 大家好，晚上好，我是孔牧人。今天我们是第四次开会，中国人和犹太人之间的对话，非常欢迎亲爱的中国学生们，很高兴你们参加我们的会议。We're privileged tonight to hear from Professor Anping Chin of Yale University. She is a distinguished scholar of Chinese thought. Professor Chin has authored many important books about the Chinese classics, especially the Analects of Confucius. The Analects opens with the following statement, and I quote from her translation. The master said, "To learn, and when it is timely, to practice what you learned, is that not a pleasure?" The early commentator Huang Kan explains, one should review daily what one has learned and not let a moment go to waste. The value of learning resonates in Jewish tradition, and it is a driving force within our university, and it is a driving force for the provost of our university, Dr. Selma Botman, who has been instrumental in the establishment of our Chinese-Jewish conversation. I've therefore asked her to address this audience to share some of her personal experiences and reflections.
Thank you, Professor Cohen. I would like to offer my words of welcome also. I wish I could do it in Mandarin, like our wonderful Professor Cohen, but please accept my gracious welcome to you. And really, I'm happy to be here to think with you about our respective cultures and traditions and the many similarities that exist between Chinese and Jewish peoples. Professor Cohen asked me to reflect a little bit on my education and my upbringing, and so that's what I would like to do, comparing it with Chinese education and Chinese family life. So I would say both Chinese and Jewish parents prize education, and through education instill in their children and young adults their own values and the ancient cultures they hold so dear. It is not uncommon for parents to sacrifice in order to give their children experiences that they never had. But with sacrifice comes expectation. The expectation that children will work hard in school and university and find success in the form of a good, worthwhile, and consequential life. Both Chinese and Jewish parents have high hopes for their children, and it is almost impossible for children to oppose their elders. My upbringing is an example of this. My parents never had the opportunity to go to college. My father was an immigrant to the United States from Russia and only had 6 years of formal education. But he and my mother were products of centuries of Torah study and Talmudic learning, and that's how they came to love and respect knowledge. It was through their religious and cultural history that they understood the power of knowledge, the reality that education changes lives. They appreciated the truth that education lifts a child, lifts a young adult into his or her future and ensures a virtuous and honest life. Of course, my parents wanted their children to make a lot of money, but money was not the prime driver. It was not of profound importance. Education was a good in and of itself, and it's needed for the soul. So my parents taught my two brothers and me resilience, persistence, and hard work. We were simply expected to be smart and to reach for something higher and deeper than they were able to achieve themselves. So imagine, my mother did finish high school, but never went to college. My father had 6 years of education. My mother was home with children. My father was a factory worker most of his life. And yet all of his 3 children, my 2 brothers and myself, received degrees from Harvard University. My younger brother, a baccalaureate, my older brother, a master's degree in physics, and my doctoral training was at Harvard as well. So 3 kids at Harvard and all 3 kids with PhDs. This is the story of the American dream. This is the story of Jewish family life, where the home is the foundation for a child's moral and educational development. Chinese parents understand this experience as well. So I'm happy to share this with you and to thank you for coming to our university. And I thank you in particular for sharing your wisdom with us, Professor. And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful lecture. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Provost Botman, and your words really resonate and remind me, and I understand when I go to China, and I've been teaching there for 4 years now, one or 2 weeks per year, I feel at home. When I speak with Chinese parents, they tell me the same things that I hear from my children, and some of them tell me, look after my child who's in New York, and someone will complain to me and say, you know, my mom said this to me, and I said, your mom is right. That's what I would say to my kids. And so you see both sides of it, but I really do feel that we share many of those core values. And so thank you very much for those words.